Howdy y'all, and we're talking about Underpaper today. And when most people talk about Underpaper, they're talking about deli paper, and it's a translucent paper that has a shiny side. Here's the shiny side, and a dull side. And this is usually used, I kind of like to think about it as donut paper, because that's what I would like to be using it for, grabbing donuts and putting them in the box. Well, in art journaling, what we're talking about here is something that is an inexpensive piece of paper that you can use to wipe paint off. You can clean stencils with it. You can clean your brayer with it. You can clean your brushes and key cards with it. And then you're using the paint that you have already on all of those things to create another secondary piece of artwork that you could use later. So you throw it in your stash, that kind of thing. Well, what I primarily use it for is protecting the other pages from overspray. So I'll show you how I do that, and that's pretty much just putting them in there, and then here the spraying happens. And in this particular case, I'm really wanting to not have to worry about getting this paint on something else. So I'll do something like that, and I did tape this stencil down because I wanted to get a good, I wanted to get really close to the paper. And then I will take that away. And then I will just rub it and get the stencil clean. And when I do that, I'm going to get some of that paint over the top of that. Now, I'm not really worrying about what is happening because I'm just trying to get the stencil clean. And if in the end something interesting happens, terrific. I'll also turn it paint side up and then clean it off. And if that create something interesting, well, then that's great too. So I will use the same piece over and over again until I get enough layers of that I think, okay, that's good enough, I'm going to stop. Now the other big question is that if you don't have deli paper, what else could you use? And say you want to have some deli paper around, but you don't have it. Like me, I couldn't find it where I live. So what if you wanted to use just plain old wax paper? I mean, isn't deli paper just wax paper? Well, the reality is that this is a little bit more wax on this paper. So I was kind of thinking about, well, how could it be used? And then I remembered an old trick that you use to get an iron clean. And let me bring up my iron. And so sometimes in sewing or in quilting especially, you'll get some smutza on your iron and you'll need to take it off. And so what you'll end up doing is using the wax on the wax paper to take off the smutza. So you turn the iron on as high as you can get it, and then you just iron it on an old towel or a piece of paper towel, and then you just keep ironing it until you've transferred some of that wax onto the iron, and that will help that sticky stuff to come out. Then you turn off your iron and you wait and you wipe off your iron. So I thought I'd try it. I thought, what if I ironed a piece of wax paper, because I'm in a position where I don't have very much of this Underpaper with paint and other things on it, because I really just use it for spraying for the most part. So I need to make a piece so that I can do the challenge. So here, we'll see if that works. So what I've got is I have some pre-ironed. I've got some pre-ironed pieces here. And let's see what I got. Okay, I've got a pre-ironed piece, and it's been just ironed on one side. And you can see that this is the shiny side, and then this is the side that I've ironed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of deli paper and I'm going to try painting on it. And I'm going to just scrape this purple across. And lots of purple. And then I'm going to try spraying a little something on it. So everybody gets a spray. And everybody gets some paint, and let's try some gesso. Bloop. That's a lot of it. Okay. And let me try with a sponge brush. Get a little something different going on. So, while that's drying, I'll set it off to the side and we'll see, and it looks like it was taking it pretty well. But while we're doing that, what else might be in your kitchen drawer? I found in my kitchen drawer something that might be able to be used was some parchment cooking bags. And they look like this, and they are pretty transparent, and I think you'd have to cut that open in order to be able to use it, but you could use something like that, and that would work for the Underpaper challenge. Here's some parchment paper, a little less stiff and a different color, a little lighter. Might take some paint. I think it would definitely take some paint. Here's some freezer paper, and I would say that not the shiny side, but the dull side would work. And, oh, what I've got on the table here is actually called table paper. And this is, you know, you find this in doctor's offices. And you can maybe, you know, find someone who works in a doctor's office who might be able to give you the end of the roll that they're done with, and there'll be some paper on there for you. For the most part, this paper is a little bit smaller than what most people use. This is 8 inches by 10 inches, and I liked it because I don't have a lot of space in my art area, so a smaller box, I know I can find a place for that. So let's see what we've got going on here. Now this is still pretty wet because I really gunked on the paint, but up close you can see that in most cases, even on the shiny side, I'm seeing some of the paint adhering. And I think the more I would let that dry, the better. I also see, you know, you can see some of the spray didn't do very well, but let's see how well we can expect the spray to do on a piece of deli paper. So here it is. You can see that almost the same thing is happening right there, in that it is it's beating up. So I would say paint does better than spray. So all in all, in a little experiment, one could make an argument that wax paper works just as well. Ironed wax paper works even better. And then if you need to, if you really want to pick up some deli paper, well, then you could do that too. You could also find a number of different things in your drawers that might work just as well in a pinch. So I'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye.